Alrighty, Roo, and Goo Goo Kachu to you, and all my nobodies not watching out there. Um, I took a little break, wanted to play something, and didn't really work out the way I wanted, but that's okay, it happens. Um, yeah, back to work in the middle of the thing. We were in the middle of a conversation, I sort of bailed. I think I just beat the crap out of Vincent, and then he got staked by Mia. And then something else is happening now. I don't remember. Um, Others, like my child, Barb, or Mia's sire, extinguished. Oh, okay, so now I remember this. But you know who got out without a scratch? Callahan. I mean, surprise, surprise, I already said my theories on that. We thought about it for the past few years. How is it that Big B managed to, you know, what? Can't get to it. Happened to excuse himself from the Staten Island Museum where we used to meet just before vans of guys in body armor showed up. I mean, seems like a classic Judas whatever turnabout, you know, whatever thing. Like, was this before he was, like, in charge, or what? Like, did he get in charge this way? How is it that my baby is still burning up after being shot with incendiary rounds? Also, I see Doug Callahan running with his tail between his legs, pushing fledglings like you in the path of the SI. I mean, okay, so it seems like you've got a pretty harsh-ass grudge, and at this point it doesn't matter or not whether or not he really did the thing or not, but it, like, he could have just been a coward doing things that cowards do to do that, but, you know, like, I mean, why'd you still see him running and then pushing people if he had already excused himself? Like, was he halfway through leaving? That could just be a coincidence. If he was still in the crossfire, that's one thing, you know? That doesn't mean you wouldn't still want to fucking kill him and all that shit. That's all gravy. I get that. Especially that he got power and all that shit, but it seems like he would have wanted to not be there at all or be gone before that happened. And that's what it seemed like you were indicating, and that does not seem to be what happened. We think the bastard knew what was coming, and he set us up. Not just us, some of our brothers and sisters who got hit and had some of the lowest profiles in the city's lick population. It's like, so basically you think that the way I'm going to put this together based on what you've said, at first it seemed as though he was gone before people showed up. Or just as they, like, he was literally leaving as that. And it's just like, it seems more like he made a deal and then got fucked on that deal and then still had to fucking try to get the fuck out of Dodge. Because they were like, yeah, we're totally going to say we're going to show up this time. We're going to show up 15 minutes early. He's like, I'm going to give myself a 15-minute window to get the fuck out of here. Or a 20-minute window. And they're like, yeah, no, we're going to be here. And then he's just like, they said they were gonna be here, and no one shows up on time. When you don't show up early to a raid, fuck you. And it's just like everybody puts it together, and it's just like you survived, other people, but not everybody. So that's a reason to be mad. That's fair. I get it. I see you. I hear you. I feel you. I feel you. The moral of the story, Callahan is an opportunistic motherfucker. And even if his thickest followers suggest he's going to sell me out, then that's what he's going to do. As sure as the sun rises. It's like, alright, I mean, what have you done to me? You've allowed me to come here knowing that that I work for some cammie. And that was the closest thing to a lie, is that you kind of threw your own follower. You said, hey, they said this. Instead of knowing it as your own, admitting it was your own intel. In which case she got pissed off at me and all that. But you've been very rational. You never played the nice guy, bad guy thing. You just, alright. You know, this guy has been around for a while. He seems like a bastard. And I get the feeling you and Sophie have way more in common than you think, even if you guys have different opinions on how vampire society should be run. I think that's why she sent me, because she's smart enough to know that both of you are old and maybe you have problems or you have miscommunications or misunderstandings about each other, loyalties or blah, 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 blah. You expect her to be this way, she expects you to be this way, but she thinks if you'll take in a little stupid ass neonate fledgling that's like, I don't really know where I belong and you guys have a good point, you know? And then that can be a bridge, whether I die or not, at least it was worth a try. Because again, I would have died, 2 weeks ago, were it not for her. That's the reality. I know that. She knows that. She's going to leverage that against me. There's not much I can do about it. So, I mean, I could try to be a dick about it and avoid it, but I don't think the game would really let me have any freedom. So, and you seem pretty rational and, you don't seem like a typical Brujah. You might be a Toreador as well. You've got a very nice sense of style. You're very logical. You could be a Ventru, but you don't have that pompousness. You do seem to have the sort of like, I'm mad at this person. So, like, let's work together and move on. He pauses for a moment, and you see him reach a decision. You said something about Langley having an offer for me. It might be your fault in part that I'm at this juncture, but now it's going to be a good time as any to listen to what she has to say. Again, I personally didn't want to ever get abducted and beaten by Vincent and, all that. I don't like Callahan. Callahan seems like an asshole. I like you, maybe even more than I like Langley, but, I don't want to face Kadir's sword, and she does have the right of destruction because that's a Cammy thing. You guys might just take me in after all this, which would be a lot, but unlikely. But it doesn't really matter because the game is a short game, and it's not like I'm just doing the thing. Now, why I spent the time building these coteries if I can't use them, I don't know. At this moment, I've literally had no benefit from it, except for just risks and possible death and vast masquerade violations. Nothing I've done for any of them has benefited me. At all. Sophie's the only one that's benefited me, and even then, that's up and down. Because, she almost gets me killed pretty frequently, and introduces me or gets me to be encouraged to hang out with people that maybe aren't so great. So, you actually seem pretty legit. Mia seems pissed off at me. That's a thing that we're going to have to work on. But, you know what? Thank you for being rational. Hope you guys have a good talk, wherever and however that happens. I'm just the middleman, the bridge. I'm not even the glue. I'm just the opportunity. I'm not even sure I expected to make it here this long, but I did take some satisfaction that one of Callahan's goons got all wrecked. But honestly, that guy didn't wreck me of his own accord. He did it because he's doing his job, this is his job. He got insulted to do his job, and I get the feeling under the right circumstances maybe you could get him to help you, but he might be pretty well brainwashed or bloodbound, so who knows. But I'm just saying, I respect you, and you guys have a good pitch. This game really sells the other characters more than the characters you can't join or can only sort of maybe join, as opposed to the ones that you have to be aligned to, which is annoying. Maybe that's the point. It's like, oh, that's very World of Darkness. It's like, no, because in the World of Darkness you can just be like, fuck that, I'm on your team now. You don't have to believe me, but I don't think that's wise, T. Well, what would you have me do then? That's a good leader question. You say this, all right. Well, then what's your take on it? What's your opinion? What would you have me do? You saying you don't want me to do something, that's fine. I get it. But that doesn't provide a solution to the circumstance. Just saying no to something doesn't provide an alternative. If all you say is no, it doesn't necessarily consider the reality. A simple no doesn't work. You have to have another move. You said it yourself. It's all this fledgling's fault. They brought this on us, so let's use them as a bargaining chip. Callahan wants them. Langley needs them. They're valuable. Well, that's not the chess move I wanted her to take. I get it though. She has no love for me. I betrayed her in her mind, by not being 100% upfront and honest. I never lied, but still. That's actually a pretty smart move. I don't think Langley needs me. You're overestimating my value there. Callahan does not want me. Callahan just doesn't want me to work with you. So, you're definitely overestimating my value. I'm just a little pawn that's ready to be sacrificed. It might be decent bait, possibly, and using me does make sense, but don't overestimate my significance. I think you're doing that. And again, I don't feel like it's my fault. I feel like there's a sequence of events that get started, and I was just, put into that. That's not necessarily my fault. But I get why you would think that, and why you're like, well, I could throw him under the bus in some other way without having to stake him myself. I get it. I don't think I'm as valuable, but maybe you don't even believe that. You just would be happy for me to, get all in, or even more in the shit, Then you don't have to take the hit for actually doing it yourself. But you do see that I was not a fan of Vincent. So I proved, not necessarily loyalty, but just this literally happened last night. I don't mind a little bit of fucking, thank you for the opportunity to be like, bam, 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 Oh, you think that's funny? Okay, well, haha, I'm gonna fucking casino your ass. Call me Joe Pesci, I don't give a fuck. Oh, you think that's fucking funny? Oh, am I fucking here to amuse you? What? You fucking, you think I'm a clown? I'm just, oh, yeah, okay, well, yeah. Until you guys are like, alright. Let's save some for, I don't know, just later maybe. You've had enough. But I get why you would say that. It does make sense, because otherwise you might have to risk yourself or somebody else. It makes sense. That's a smart move. Smarter move than I thought you had. Me? Valuable? I'm just a pawn. That's exactly probably what I'm gonna say. But I don't sell me out. What the fuck, Mia? No, I'm totally gonna be like, ha! I'm just a value. I'm just a pawn. No, you're wrong. I'm just a pawn. That's why Sophie sent me here. Plausible deniability and all that. I'm expendable. That's 100% while I'm here. Her biggest fear was that I would actually defect somehow, and she knows that I can't do that because of Kadir. Because somehow, some way, Kadir would just do it. I've been raised, and I don't mean raised. Raised is the wrong way to put it. I've been told this is how it is, and then also told it's not. I don't know the world, I don't know the rules, I don't know the societies. I'm literally I'm just barely walking that it's whatever happens to me. The worst thing I could do is truly get some sort of awareness and freedom, and that might work out poorly for her and everybody else. But she had me all sort of try to be helpful and a good little errand boy and make friends and stuff instead of actually learn how things work, because I was so busy trying to help people and their problems that I didn't act they might be quote unquote potential allies, part of a coterie or that sort of thing, but I did them favors. They all owe me favors, but I don't know anything more really than I knew before. I know a little bit. Second Inquisition, bad, but that's about it. There's Camarilla, there's Anarchs, and I still don't understand the difference between the two in a political sense. except for that you guys want to go for freedom, and some guy is definitely not allowing that, trying to make you guys into a mob, and then there's the rest of you who are like, no. And then there's, you know, the cams, the Camarilla that have their whole hierarchical structure that you guys are probably too young to really overthrow, and even when you're not, you guys got real hurt real bad. So, alright, I mean, that's a valid strategy from your perspective, but I am not important enough. The realization that you just summarized the entirety of the last 2 weeks or so hits you hard, but if there was a moment to be honest with yourself, it's now. It's like, no, that's exactly it. I am expendable. I could have died on any number of these things. I have committed a number of fucking violations of the Masquerade. Any one of these people I've put in my coterie, people that I've helped, if they were so inclined, could fuck me over at any time. I could try to fuck them over, but they might just fuck me over just because I have the option to maybe fuck them over, and just out of safety. They needed help. I was a little fucking stupid ass fledgling that they could use, and they did. And then they were probably planning on, you know, throwing me under the bus. And maybe I was good enough at it and proved my worth or value, or they were just gonna be nice or never meant to do that, but it was like a backup plan. But that's the reality. Like, I have no value to these people. I earned their trust so that they could be there in my coterie, but that doesn't mean they actually have to do it. I did them a favor with the intent of exchange, but that doesn't mean they're gonna follow through. I paid first, you know. That's all there is to it. Fuck. Yeah, no, were you not smart enough to realize that? Did you really think I had value? I think, Mia, for somebody who's been around for so long, I just feel like you don't understand how this works. Did you really, like, it wasn't a bad move, but I thought that you were saying that as a sort of like, oh yeah, I know they're not that valuable. But it seems like you really truly believe that I had value, and it's like, I mean, no, not really. Like, Callahan would be happy. No, he's definitely gonna want to kill me already just because of this. You know, like, but I think that the worst that Sophie would do is that she would use this opportunity as a reason to, you know, she would be like, oh, that's my motivation. You killed my little fledgling. They were my adopted child. How dare you? And just dramatize that and do that and twist it however they need to. It wouldn't be about me, you know. All this is all just a bigger game that I'm just barely a part of, because that's how vampire works. Man puts his hand on Mia's shoulders. She calms down a bit. We're afraid, Tobias, but then what else is new? It's a paradox being who we are. Hunter one night, hunted the other. Masters of the night, slaves to the dawn. Duality to everything. I like you. Why couldn't you have been the guy who fucking stepped up and... You could have been my daddy, as opposed to Sophie, my vampire daddy. Because I probably would have things would have been better for me. You know? But that's not an option, so... Mia, I understand your concern, but I need you to trust me like you did before. This is my call and my responsibility. You can give me shit about it later, like I'm sure you will. Regardless of whether or not it turns out good or bad. That's what she gonna do. Count on it. Just like smiles, does finger guns, does a little winky. He smiles, then takes on a no bullshit look and points at you. Oh, okay, well, real shit's about to happen. He's still gonna sort of take her advice, but in his own way. Like, I'm still probably gonna be bait or used or whatever, but the reality is I'm not that valuable a pawn. Like, I'm a pawn at best. 3 conditions. First, you come pick me up personally and bring me to the meeting spot. Anything goes sideways, and it's your ass. That seems fair. I don't know if they have a driving animation for me. I do drive often, but I have my own car given to me by Sophie, which, again, I would probably mention and be like real quiet, like kind of like lean in and be like, hey, I do have my own car and I can do that. Um, but it was given to me by Sophie. So, like, I just want you to know that. Like, for all I know, it's like also I'm being followed and this sort of thing. Like, I'm not trying to discourage your plan here. It's just like, for all I know, there's like explosives on it. Like, real talk. Like, it was given to me by Sophie, and if she, it just makes sense to me that if she's going to do all this, that maybe you'll survive the explosives, or maybe not. Maybe she can blame the explosives on somebody else. Maybe other people. Maybe there's like 3 or 4 sets of explosives on this fucking car. I don't know. I'm just telling you. You know? There could be C4 packed into 5 different places, and I wouldn't know. So, but that seems fair. Let's move on. Second, Mia's coming with me. No two ways about it. 8 eyeballs in the meeting. 2 of you, the 2 of us, nobody else. Also, seems very fair. I don't have the right to make that choice, nor can I make that commitment because I don't control her. And if I were you, I would definitely have Mia come in a different, like, come from a different means of transportation. You know? That's just me. And third, the meeting is in public, downtown, some spot frequented by mortals. We see you take us anywhere fishy, we check out and fuck you up as a message to Langley. Not so fond of this last one, especially if I gave you the info, but I don't have the ability to give you the info from the other 2 ones. But you know what? I get it. I've already been fucked up, but at least you're not like saying you're gonna kill me, and that totally seems fair from your position, like 100%. Like that. Like, you are not being irrational or unfair. You're not asking me for too much. You're I don't have control of the situation, and you could have made me a much worse deal. And maybe you're lying about the deal you're making here, and it could be far worse. But at least this seems pretty legit. I'll take it. I count on not coming to that, though. You seem likable enough. The cam hasn't gotten its talons in you yet. Keep it up and maybe you'll come to the same conclusion we did in your own time. Exactly. Did you immediately just embrace the whole anarch life? Where you're like, anarch for life? Because I get the feeling you probably didn't, dude. You know? And also, that was then and this is now. And now, like, the reality is we all have a united enemy, and that is Callahan. However, I do want to bring up, if we could also get Kaiser at the same time, that would be awesome, because that guy is a super huge dick, and I'm confident he is fucking trying to weasel things and fuck shit up and all that. So I'm just telling you, like, real talk, like, I do have my own personal thing against him, because he is a super huge dick, but I did my work, and he was still a super huge dick. If we could also get him, I think it would probably hurt the Camarilla. If there's a way we could do that all at once. I'm going to leave that up to you guys if you think that's a possibility. If not, totally fine. But I'm just going to say, either he's already aware or going to do something to stop, hinder, or benefit from whatever you're going to do. And so it would just make more sense to strike first. That's just my opinion. But you guys do as you do. Hopefully I don't get up fucked up. But the fact that you're, you know, being so straight, like, you seem like I like you too. You seem legit. I'll take it. There's way worse deals I've had to deal with since, I don't know, a whole long-ass 2 weeks ago before I, you know. But then again, we could just be going into a trap and everybody gets killed, and that's just that. I don't know. I would just say that. I'd be like, but if you kill me now, then they're not gonna like listen, and if you kill that, like, it's just, look, I don't like Callahan. He beat the crap out of me. That guy admitted it. He's not gonna take the fact that you, like, why would he let me beat the crap out of him, and then, like, we could have just, like, you stopped me from killing him. Like, I could have just done that. You know? But we could still be being, there's all sorts of stuff. Like, let's just take it from here. I think it's like, I don't know when this is going to run out, and I feel like this is a good moment to end on. Because I think I'm going to have to make a choice and things are going to happen, so I want a moment.